What's up, guys? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 15 of the Game Plan Pod. Unfortunately, it'll just be me today, as Henry and Vincent can't make it. But, wait, what does that sound? I think is it something next door? I don't know what it is.
Oh my God, todo lo malo echarlo para allá. Oh my God, dame salud y prosperidad. No tengo nada.
So guys, I actually am here today. We just want to start the day off with some OMG, get the vibes up. And yeah, but let's get into this week's episode. So speaking of OMG, we're going to talk about the Mets' recent slump over the past 2 weeks. It was a tough road trip. Coming home was also tough, losing 2 out of 3 to the A's. But it was a tough road trip going 4-6. But I think I'm just going to put this. I think the mainly reason is like a lot of traveling does take a toll on all the players, especially all the time differences. It will take a toll, especially in the West Coast. But between now and the difference, what is the difference between now and when they were the hottest team in baseball?
I mean, right now, it's like the consistency. For like when they were the hottest team in baseball, they just kept winning games. They were playing team games, and they were hitting really well, and they were pitching in strides. And they, game after game, they were very consistent and scoring a lot of runs every single game. And these past couple of days and weeks, I mean, the slump, I feel like it's really because like the pitching, they're blowing the pitching kind of, and they're not finishing games in the ninth. I mean, that's what they really did well a couple of weeks ago, and when they were hot, but they're not finishing well in the ninth when they just lost 2 to 3 games at home to the A's.
And look, they haven't, like Peter was saying with scoring, like they haven't been coming in clutch and scoring with two out base hits or with runners in scoring position, or even when they have no outs and runners in scoring position, they're struggling to score only one run. Meanwhile, when they're the hottest team in baseball, they were hitting the ball all over the place. Obviously, like there's one player like I'm a little worried about right now, but I trust him. Nimmo, he's been struggling a lot since the All-Star break, but that could be a lot with the ball he took to the head a couple weeks ago. Could be affecting him a little bit, but I do trust Nimmo to get out of the slump and break out of it. But this team just needs to play consistency better. Like we said, it has to be more consistent. And the pitching's been a little bit of a problem. Sevy's been struggling. Quintana's now starting to struggle a little bit. But this team needs to grasp those opportunities when they have runners in scoring position, especially against the teams like they're better than, like the A's, the Angels, the Rockies. You got to take advantage. Like now they start a 3-game set with the Marlins. You got to take advantage. The Marlins really don't have much of a competitive team, obviously, because they trade away most of their players, and this should be a good team. This should be a good opportunity for the Mets to take at least 2 out of 3, which they should, if not sweep 2. They just need to score more, and they need to have the clutch base hits that they had before.
Yeah, right now with like players in slumps, like like you said, Sevy's in the slump, Nimmo's in the slump. The Mets need to rely on their difference makers. Like Alonso needs to like step up. He needs he's been hitting home runs recently, but he's been a little like on the lower average side. He needs to heat up, as well as Alonso, who's been very good recently, and Vientos. He's a different maker for he was a different maker for this team.
Yeah, and yesterday was his first time hitting the 2-hole. He had a 2-run homer and a solo shot. I thought he played great right there. And honestly, like if he does start hitting well in the 2-hole, wouldn't be a bad idea to keep him up there, honestly, behind Lindor. And it just goes to show, like you have these players, like you have some players that are hitting, some players aren't hitting. But if this team can get everyone hitting in their lineup, it's a dangerous lineup. It's a dangerous and deep lineup. Like right now, Alvarez is in a really bad slump. But do we believe he'll get out of it soon? Yeah. I think the finger injury is still lingering a little bit, because that can be a little bit of a lingering injury even when it's healed. But it's a sophomore slump for Alvarez right now. But I trust this team. They're only 2 games back of the final wildcard spot, so I have all the faith that they can still make it.
Yeah, I mean, also when you're in a slump, you need other unexpected players to rise up to the occasion. Like, I mean, McNeil's been pretty quiet lately. It'd be nice if he hit a couple more balls. I mean, Jose Iglesias, he would be helpful too.
Yeah, and look, McNeil's been one of the hottest hitters since the All-Star break. I can't lie about that. He's been one of the hottest hitters since the All-Star break, and he's been red hot. Like he's been not as red hot as he came out of the All-Star break, but it just goes to show that sometimes maybe a couple of these players some these players need to step up, and some other players need to step up, and they can't always rely on like the big guys like Lindor and Alonso will always come through. You need the team to all come together.
Well, you can't always rely on the big guys like
No.
Lindor, but it's good to have that feeling of security when they're at the plate. Like, all right, Lindor's up. Maybe we don't have to pinch hit this guy, or maybe like we could feel confident with Lindor getting a hit here, and maybe we don't have to put in another pitcher. So, right now, nearing the end of the season, if they just stay consistent and keep winning series, I have a good feeling about this Mets team, despite what's been happening recently.
Yeah, they have a month and a half of the season left. I have all the faith. We both have all the faith that they can make it. Is it a tough challenge a little because they're not like the most like crazy good team. But they're good. Obviously, other teams like the Diamondbacks and Padres have been really hot. But I trust this team. I think they'll break out of it eventually. And that's all the things I need to say about them.
Yeah, I mean, all teams have struggles. I mean, obviously, Yankees, one of the most stacked rosters in the league. A couple of weeks ago, they were one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah,
now that just goes to show every team struggles. I mean, the Mets this year have had a ton of struggles. Like, obviously, they started 0-5. Worst start in baseball, probably. Mm-hmm. But then they heat up, and
then there was a time they were 11 games under.
This whole series, it's a roller coaster.
Yep.
Good, bad, good, bad. They've been very inconsistent this entire season. But when it's most important is nearing the end of the season, they have to stay consistent. This is where it's most important. Forget the past. Focus on the future and the present.
Exactly. Like when they were 11 games under 500. They played consistent, and now look where they were at the deadline. They made deadline moves, and it just goes to show if they play their best baseball, they could be a very exciting team to watch.
All right, let's play a game after our first segment. Let's play a Madden guessing game. So we each have a player in mind. We'll give each other the overall and the position in the entire league, and we'll try to guess and see how many guesses it takes. And after each incorrect guess, we'll give the other person another attribute. Okay.
Okay. You want to go first or me?
I'll give you the player first. So my first player is a wide receiver.
Okay.
And they're an 89 overall.
Am I allowed to ask questions like that?
Yeah, you could ask questions. Okay. Let's see how many questions.
NFC or AFC?
NFC. Hey, let's make it a yes or no questions. So you had one question. Okay. NFC wide receiver, 89 overall.
89 overall. I'm trying to think of. Is he in the West?
No, he's not in the West.
All right. I'm gonna 89 overall. That's a tough one because I know there could be a lot of receivers at 89.
There is a lot in that range.
So he's not in the West. So I got the South, East, and the North. I'm gonna put in a guess right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Mike Evans.
Good guess. That's not it.
It's not it.
Yeah.
So he's not. Is he not in the? He's not in the South.
He's
either?
not in the South.
Okay. Give me one of his attributes.
His speed's a 93. Speed doesn't stand out. It's not too fast, but he's not slow.
But he's not slow. Can't be.
I'll give you division.
What's the division?
East.
It is the East?
NFC East. Wide receiver, 89, 93 speed. I think this player's a tad underrated.
Is it Devontae Smith?
Not Devonta Smith.
Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin.
I was between those two. I was guessing. Yeah. Terry McLaurin.
You got it. Okay. All right. Let's move on to Vinny's player.
My first player is a cornerback.
Corner. What overall?
He is a 89 as well.
89 overall corner. Okay. Are we in the AFC?
No.
We're in the NFC. Is this the North?
No.
Damn, I thought it was Jalen Johnson for a second.
See, I was going to go with him there, but I thought it'd be too easy.
Yeah. All right, so is this, oh my God. Is this, no. Corner. That's Darius Slay.
No.
Are we in the East?
Yes, we are.
We're in the East. Okay. Corner, East, 89. Okay.
I think you're going to get it after getting to the division.
Probably Dallas. Oh, Trevon Diggs.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah,
Once you got the East, I was like, he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
He's gonna get it.
I'm gonna try to ask. All right, we each have one more player. Let's try to ask less questions and see.
Yeah,
if you get
let's
them
see.
less questions. Your player. This could be easy. This could be difficult. I don't know. It's kind of a wild card. Tight end, 88.
Tight end 88.
Yeah,
AFC or NFC?
AFC. It's one question.
I know. 88 overall. Tight end.
Some people forget this player, but some people. There's not many tight ends that are that high.
Not really. I'm not gonna ask that question.
And guesses count. Let's make
Yeah.
guesses count as questions.
I'm trying to think. See, there's a lot of tight ends in the AFC, so it's like hard to pick through.
You don't have much information, but
It's gonna be such a.
you can throw out a guess or ask a question.
I'm just gonna throw out a guess. I don't know. This is probably gonna be wrong. Pat Fryermuth.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
Pat
don't know.
Fryermuth's that high.
I don't know why I thought it was him.
That's two.
What division?
Yes or no question.
Oh, yes or no question.
Let's go through the divisions.
Oh wait, is he in the South, AFC South?
He's in the AFC South. That's
All
three.
Oh, I'm going through it. I'm trying to think of their tight end. Oh wait, I got it.
Does he
Evan
have
Ingram.
it?
Evan Ingram.
It's Evan Ingram. He got it in 4.
Evan Ingram.
Has it in 4. All right.
All right, ready?
Let's see if I can beat that.
All right.
Hit
My
me.
guy is a wide receiver, and he's an 89.
Wow. Okay, another wide receiver at an 89. NFC.
No.
We're in the AFC. Oh God, there's so many wide receivers. Okay, that's all right. Let's start with the North. You have Pittsburgh. There's no 89s in that team. Pickens is not that high. Cincinnati, maybe T. Higgins. Ravens, no. Browns, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins I have right now. He's not giving me any looks. I have one question so far. Right. Are we in the North?
No.
Okay. Are we in the East?
Nope.
Oh,
questions.
God. So Northeast or in the South or the West. This is bad. I don't know what division this guy's in. South or the West. NFC South. Wait, did I say the South?
You said the South or the West, but you didn't ask if it was South or West.
Do I get one more question?
Yeah, you get another question.
South or South?
South.
South.
It's in the South.
So we have the Colts. Could be Pittman. Texans. No. Titans. No, I think it's Pittman. Not Pittman.
No.
Oh my God.
I think you're going to be a little shocked at this rating, I feel like.
Really?
I don't know.
Texans, Colts, Jags. All right, so we're in the AFC South. Could be the Texans. It's not Nico Collins. Titans. I said Ridley. D-Hop?
It is D-Hop.
Let's go.
Sticking with football, we're going to talk about the Giants preseason game that happened last Thursday, pretty sure. And honestly, they did take a dub against the Lions. But
Line stands for L.
And but in the game there was a couple standout players. But who do you think stood out the most to you?
Obviously, my boy running back Eric Gray is the most obvious answer.
I gotta go with the same answer there.
He had a tremendous run for a touchdown and a couple great catches.
Yep.
From pass from DeVito, and he just had a great standout game. And for Giants fans, that really helped us just kind of let go of Saquon Barkley a little bit more and just focus on the future of our running back core of Singletary, Gray, and Tyrone Tracy.
And look, Gray looked good. He had 2 touchdowns that day, and he had good receptions. But also, like, you don't have to rule out Tyrone Tracy. He had 4 or 5 broken tackles in the couple runs he had, which is very good and very impressive. And also Dante Turbo Miller, that's the undrafted free agent we signed. He had a good game. I know he had like 14 rushes, 14 rush attempts, and he had 70 yards. But still, that's a good game in my opinion.
Very good.
And it was just showed that he was standing out. Another guy that stood out to me was Elijah Chapman, the undrafted D-tackle free agent we signed. He actually had a pretty solid game. I think he had a sack that game, and I think a couple pressures and a QB hit. But he was looking good, obviously, and I think that the Giants see something in him a little bit as they're trying to give him more playing opportunity, as they did just trade Jordan Phillips to Dallas. But that could be maybe we have a hidden gem there, maybe a hidden solid gem. I'm not gonna say like a star, but maybe could be a hidden gem in there that could be very solid along Dexter Lawrence.
It would be nice to have another D tackle, but also going back to the running backs, the Giants also signed vet running back from the Chargers, Josh Kelly.
They did just sign Joshua Kelly.
So the running back room is very large, but I expect when the preseason ends, I expect them to make a few cuts to that position.
Yeah.
Like probably
and maybe sign those guys.
I know Singletary, Tracy, and Gray are all locks.
They're all locks
in my opinion. But let's see if Dante Miller, Josh Kelly.
If it is, they might be signed to the practice squad if they do get cut.
That too.
But and also a guy that's been splitting first team reps with Mikey McFadden, Deontay Johnson, the linebacker.
Yeah.
Obviously he got a little banged up, but he had a good stop on third down and a sack, I'm pretty sure. And he's been playing really good. I've been seeing good highlights in camp. And look, it just all comes to show that like if the Giants can find these hidden gems, it just contributes more to like maybe they won't be as bad as a team as people think they will be. And they looked good in the preseason. I know it's preseason. They scored 2 touchdowns. That's it. But look, the defense looked good. Banks had a good stop on one of the plays he played, on one of the downs he played. Obviously, people were saying like, "Oh, Neighbors, he played 12 snaps. He had no targets." All right, it's a preseason game. They're not gonna try and play.
He was just out there to like see if he could get open and just. I don't think he was out there to get 100 yards, 10 catches for 200 yards. He wasn't out there for that. I mean, Dable didn't want to use him that much in the preseason to get him injured. I mean, look what happened during practice. He got injured a little bit, and they need him ready for the entire season. They need him ready for week 1. But someone who I think was pretty disappointing to me was Drew Lock. I mean, he had an interception. He did get injured early, but
he didn't have that good of a game.
He didn't work well under pressure. I mean, and that's something you have to adapt to as a Giants player, quarterback. You needed to adapt to the pressure.
The offensive line didn't look that bad, honestly.
It didn't.
It didn't look that bad. I have to say that. But the thing with Drew Lock, bring back Malik Neighbors, he did have Neighbors wide open at one point, and he had all the time to throw, and he didn't throw it to Neighbors. Just gotta say, he attempted to, but when Neighbors was just standing there at that point. But he did have Neighbors, and Neighbors did get open, and Drew Lock had the time to throw it to him.
Yeah, but let's see what happens in the next preseason game. You know who they're playing?
I think Daniel Jones is going to make his return, just play a couple downs, probably maybe just a quarter. They're saying Malik Neighbors could play. In my opinion, keep him out. He should not play. Just keep him out. Let him recover. I know the injury. They said the injury is not that serious, but still, keep him out just to be safe. Preseason games don't matter. It's just for other teams that are trying to make the roster.
They're playing the Texans tomorrow. So they're playing the Texans Saturday, which should be an interesting game. We'll see who plays, and let's see who could have a breakout game and who could earn a roster spot. I mean, this could be very meaningful to guys who were undrafted and are finding a way to make a team, and that's why the preseason is such a valuable aspect of the NFL. And that's why players can show their talents in different ways other than practice.
Yep, completely agree. And the preseason isn't obviously that big of a deal. But we, as a team that came off of a year we thought we were gonna be much better than what we were, it's been good to watch them, to see them play even good football. Then because it could give it could give a little like signs that maybe like they aren't, because people are underrated. Like every place is underrating the Giants. Like they're saying like, oh, they're gonna be terrible. 4-13, 5-12, 6-11. Like realistically, like could they win like 9 games? Maybe, possibly.
They definitely
They could. I don't think they'd be as bad as people think
They
they
could have
are.
done it last year. Not a
Dable,
hot take.
Dable is now calling the offensive plays, and he's making Jones throw the ball deep more. So they're making bigger plays, and I think that's what they need to do. And letting go of Saquon was sadly a part of that process of becoming more of a pass-heavy offense and taking the more deep throws. Don't get me wrong, I love Saquon. I did love him before he went to the Eagles, but now him leaving is gonna open up the opportunity to be a more pass-heavy offense, in my opinion. There.
Definitely. So let's move over to recent moves that an NFC team has made. The Atlanta Falcons have bolstered up their defense. They traded for Matt Judon from the Patriots and signed Justin Simmons, the former Bronco vet safety, to bolster up that defense. And now they have Justin Simmons, A.J. Terrell, Matt Judon,
Jesse Bates.
It
just keeps going. Grady Jarrett.
They have a really good defense now.
Very solid defense.
Adding on to that pretty solid offense. But now with Kirk Cousins, we'll see how they do. With Drake London, Bijan Robinson,
Kyle Pitts.
And
look, this team could be very scary.
Could
be a new coach, Raheem Morris, I'm pretty sure that's his name. And it could be people are saying the Bucks got it locked up, but this could be a very sleeper team to take the division away from the Bucks, honestly. And I think that if Kirk Cousins can stay healthy and he can work well with that offense, it could be a very, very solid offense. But this defense it's very scary, in my opinion. I think that this defense has a chance to be top 15 worthy, at least.
Yeah, I mean, this division has been pretty mid for a while. You have Tampa winning it most frequently. Yeah, Tampa, New Orleans, and Carolina Panthers, and now the Atlanta Falcons, I think, have a chance to swoop in and win the division.
They do.
And give a Bucks their run for their money. I don't believe the Saints will do well, and Carolina is probably just going to be a repeat of last year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, nothing really much to improve. They did add Deontay Johnson, so another weapon for Bryce Young, but it also depends on the situation Young's in, if the team around him is built enough to succeed, which I don't know right now if it is. But I think the Falcons could be a very scary team that could swoop in and take the division from the Bucks. But it should be a fun little battle. I think it's gonna be very intriguing to watch the Falcons versus the Bucks this year. Very much. Baker versus Kurt, and just like two very good team, solid teams going at it.